up, America? This is Kim with Geauga Firearms Academy. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about how to use a shot timer and how it can benefit your shooting. We're going to use the Pocket Pro 2 we got from Optics Planet, so let's get started. Before we get started, I wanted to say a huge thank you to Sportsman's Guides for becoming a patron on our Patreon channel and supporting us. We can't thank you enough. We also want to thank Optics Planet for making this video possible. So here we have the Pocket Pro 2. It's from Competition Electronics. We've had a few of these before, so we're very familiar with them. They're really easy to use. They come in this gray color and also in blue. So in this video, we'll go over just how to use it, and then we'll roll in some live fire to show you how to use it on the range and also how to use it with dry fire practice. Here on the front, we have the menu buttons right here and the selection buttons. So let's go over how to use these. To turn it on, we're just going to press this button. You can see it coming on. And now we can use our menu buttons to scroll through and see what we can change. We can change the beeper volume. We have it low because we're inside. The main screen type, we like the single type only. There's this other one called, well, there's rounds per minute, and then there's review direct, but that's like really busy. We don't really care for that one. Next, we have the shot dead time. We're just going to leave this one alone. And also this next one, the shot sensitivity, just leave that just how it is. Next, we have the date and the time. So if we wanted to change it, we would just use these setup buttons to change it. Like, let's say it's February. I'm going to go to the next one. We can change the date to the 14th and change the year. So we cycle through the date and time. Right back to our main screen, you can see the last shots that you were doing. Now here's where we can set the par time. If we put just 0 here, it would just do 1 beep, but this is the time in between the 2 beeps. So now we have a 1 second par time, and you can change that. So if you wanted to see how it works, we're gonna let's press the activation button on the side. And so you hear that there's 1 second in between the 2 beeps. Next, you can set your start delay type. So there's instant. So that means as soon as you press the button, it's going to go off. And there's also random. And then it will go off any time in between the parameters that you set, which is in the next menu. So you can have a minimum of, let's say you wanted to do 2.1 seconds and a maximum of 3 seconds. So it'll go off any time in between then. We have the battery conditions. Obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. Backlight on time, that's not how bright it is, but how long it stays on. So you can use the settings to make it less or more, depending on what you want. Now we're going to cut to us using it live fire, and then we'll come back and show you how to use it dry fire.
Now, I'm always a big proponent of the fundamentals, and always working on those fundamentals. But as we start to master those and we get good at those, we want to start to increase our speed, because there's always that balance between speed and accuracy. The fastest missed shot doesn't matter anyway, right? So one of those tools that we're going to talk about today is a shot timer. And again, I got this from Optics Planet. We're going to have links below to get this. This is the Pocket Pro 2. I've used these many different varieties from Competition Electronics. But this Pocket Pro 2 is really cool. As you'll see in the video here, we're going to roll in some of the usage and how to do it. It's very, very simple to use. But we're going to go right now on some drills and things that we can do to help you become a little faster on the range. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up something real simple here. We're going to set up just a basic draw, okay? And I'm not going to get into times with you because I find it to be very counterproductive rather, as people try to get unrealistic times for themselves. The only competition you have is yourself right now, and we're trying to push our own limits, all right? But ideally, you're going to pick a time, all right? So let's just start with something real slow, like 3 seconds. And when I say real slow, keep in mind, if that is fast for you and it's 4 seconds for you, that's fine. It's just like when you start working out for the first time and they say, well, if you can only lift the bar, lift the bar. All right, it'll come with time, all right? That's how we become better. So don't get caught too much up in that. The main difference here is that we just want to have some type of time. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set a par time, again, of 3 seconds. And it's real easy with these touch keys. And what this is going to do, it's going to give me 2 distinct beeps. The first beep will be my begin time, and the second beep will be that time that we set, that par time. So in this case, it's going to be 3 seconds. The other setting you're going to want to adjust is your start delay time. Now you're going to have between random and you're going to also have instant. Instant would be used, like I use instant a lot in the range as an instructor, or I'm going to walk behind somebody and I'm going to say shooter ready, and I'm going to put, as soon as I press that button, boop, it's going to go. But if you're training by yourself, like we are at the moment, so to speak, we're going to go to a random. And then the random, we can set start time, so it's not always 1 second or 2 seconds. So you're not really going to know. You can play with that. I'm not really that, it's not that big a deal for this particular setup here, but we're just going to set a reasonable minimum time of 2 seconds and then a maximum of 3 seconds. And you can change it up as much as you want. So sometime between those times is when it's going to go off as soon as we hit this start button. Okay, so after we set that up, it's going to be pretty simple. Let me get my eyes and ears on and we'll get started. And since it's a nice cold day here in the Midwest, we're going to try to always train the way we carry our guns. And if I were out today, I'd be wearing some type of glove, so that's how we're going to train. So we're going to gas this blaster up here and we're good to go. I'm using, again, I'm not really bothered about gear today. This is my duty holster, so we're going to get some practice in overcoming the retentions on that and all that good stuff with gloves on. Now that we're all set up, I'm going to press the button on the side here. At some time it's going to start. I'm going to draw out, take my shot. You heard that second beep there, and I'll show you what this looks like. Again, we're not trying to do any monster times, but if that shows up on camera there, you'll see that it's 2 seconds, 2.3. So 2 seconds and 3/10. Nice and slow. And we can continue to do this drill over and over. So again, all I simply do is press the start button. Draw my gun out. Okay, 2.4, again, going nice and slow. So now let's say 2.4, and by the way, let's take a quick look at the target here. So obviously you got a nice little group there. So we're accurately hitting well within the A zone, right where we want to be. So the point of this is to push ourselves and get that point where I'm accurate enough, right? Once we start getting out of the A zone, obviously we're going too fast. So we'll go a little bit faster, nothing crazy. Okay. And so on that one there, we've got a 188, and again, a very accurate shot. So since I still have an accurate shot and I'm going faster, we're going to increase the speed a little bit more. Okay, I got a 1.5 on that one, so we're going faster. Oops. And if you do that, you make a mistake, you hit the button and it beeps. Not a big deal, just press the button again. Okay, 1.51. So that's a basic drill, okay? And you can play with that as much as you want to adjust that based on your performance. Again, we can rock this out all the way to sub 1 seconds and all that kind of good stuff based on your skill level. Stay within your lane, guys. Another drill we're going to do to work on mechanics and speed is a reload drill. So for this, I apologize, I typically would have a mag pouch. In this case, I don't. We're just going to stick a spare mag here just to illustrate this point. Get ourselves gassed up. Okay. So what we're going to do here is I have 1 round in the gun now, an empty magazine. So we're going to put 1 round on the target here. The gun is going to go to slide lock. It's going to be out. We're going to drop our magazine. I'm going to take my new fresh one, load it in, and take a second shot. I took the part time off. You can leave it on there if you want to set a specific time. This is just another example here. The main thing here is I know it's not as super realistic because I know that 1 shot's going to go to lockback. The point on this one is working mechanics, right? Getting our proper reloads, presenting, all that kind of good stuff. So real simple here. We're just going to hit the button. It'll start and we'll do our drill. So I'm out, guns out, back in. Okay. And then of course, depending on what what kind of training you're doing, we would do our scan and assess, and we move off of X and all that good stuff. But that'll give us a time that we can look at. Now, once we have that time, we can press the unset button, and that will show us our split time. So it'll show you your draw time, and it will show you your second shot off that reload time. And so you can kind of track that so you know how to improve and what you need to improve on. All right, so the last one we're going to look at here is your split times, just to illustrate that again from shot to shot. So for example, if we are, we're going to be shooting quickly, and we want to see if our accuracy, obviously keeping our guns, our shots, our groups accurate, but we want to see how long does it take from shot to shot to shot, how fast can we push that. So again, we're going to do the same deal here, start our timeout here. So what that will now tell us, and our total time will be on the screen. We press our onset button here in the bottom one in the corner, and that will give us our time from our draw and the splits between each shot. So I was a 0.19 or 19th of a second in between each shot, 120 and 1.18. So you guys will play with that at your leisure. You will be able to track your performance and give you some data that you can actually see, am I progressing, am I not? It's one of those funny things I've seen many times where I feel that a shot that I've taken was really fast, and it turns out it wasn't. And some of the shots I feel, well, were not fast at all, turned out to be very quick. So it's just another tool to put in your tool belt to keep you honest and to give you some feedback.
All right, our concepts are going to be the same as they were outside live fire. Obviously, the most important thing here is that we check and clear this. Make sure that your gun is absolutely positively dry. I recommend that you do this in a special room in your house, wherever that's going to be, that never, ever, ever has ammo in it at any time. And of course, if you get disrupted at any point during this practice, that you do this whole thing all over again, and that we actually physically and visually verify that the gun is clear and empty. And I like to do it with no magazine in it. And you can do this in a variety of different ways. But for here, we'll just practice again our draw from concealment. Okay, nothing too fancy here. But what I did is, it's not going to record your time of actually pressing the trigger, but you'll be able to audibly hear that. So what this is going to do is just give you a par time that you can kind of work within those parameters. So I have it set for 2 seconds. So just make this pretty simple. And it's on a random start, just like it was outside. So I'll just leave it on the table here. And the idea here, we press our button. We're ready. Okay. Now, we just want to make sure, of course, that when we do that, that we're verifying, of course, we're not cheating, because I can just click this anything, and I have no real representation of if I hit my shot. So if I don't see that front sight, don't press your trigger. And the idea here is that you can take your time, okay? 2 seconds is going to be very fast for most people. Start off for your own. I just set it for what it is. Okay? And we take our shot. Now, let's say that, you set it for 4 seconds. In this case, we have 2, so let's just cut it down a little bit. So once we're finding that front sight every time we're pressing that trigger smoothly, we're watching that front sight, and when we press that trigger, that front sight stays where it is. Then we can cut the time down. So in this case, let's just go, a minute, 1.5 seconds, okay? So we cut 30 seconds off of it, basically. Again, same concept, set that down. Okay, didn't reset my trigger in that one. Try that one again. Oops. Okay, so there you go. And now again, it's not going to give you reading, but it's something that you can do as far as time goes. So maybe you want to do also, maybe you want to reload a magazine with snap caps in it for a particular time, because it's about mechanics. And it's going to teach you when we can make time and when we need to take time. And I don't want to make this into a big educational deal or training video so much, but keep in mind that accuracy is not affected from here to here. Accuracy isn't affected from here to here. It's not here to here, here to here. None of this movement so far is going to affect my accuracy. The only thing that's going to affect my accuracy is when I'm finally out on target. So right about here, from this spot to this spot, this is what's going to affect my accuracy. Because if I drive the gun out too far, and then I have to try to reset it, which a lot of people are trying to do, they just push the gun out there, and then it's all over the place. Where if they move faster here to slow down a bit here, they'd have much more accurate shots. But again, that's a different video. But this will give you a good way to train at home, kind of give you things that you can kind of set for yourselves and push yourself. Hope that's helpful, guys. So I want to talk about one thing, is just a con of the product itself. Again, I've had several of these, and I've had several of these because they suck when it comes to getting wet. Now, I realize that probably most people never shoot in crappy conditions, and that's a shame because you should. But for me, I mean, I'm not asking for this to be waterproof. I don't want to go scuba diving with it, but I should be able to hold this in the shower and it should work. If it's pouring down rain, I should be able to use this in my opinion, and have no problems. If you use this in the rain, I promise you it will not work. And I haven't found too many. Actually, I haven't found any really that claim to be very rugged. I mean, think about cell phones today and stuff like that. You know, you can put them underwater for crying out loud. Why we can't make one of these to be a little bit more weather resistant would be great. Again, for cold and snow, even if it's not super wet, but it's very cold and the snow gets on there and then it melts when it goes back in your car or whatever and gets water in there, it's not going to work. That's one of the reasons why I've had so many of these. But they are very reliable other than that, and they work very well. But if you guys know of another product down below, you can go ahead and put some comments down there if you found one that is very water resistant, but this is definitely not one of them. That would be the only con I have on this particular product.
We hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, comment, share, like it. You will put all the links for this product below. If you guys want to help us out, make sure that if you ever shop at Optics Planet, use our coupon code. It helps us get more cool stuff to review. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe here on YouTube and click that little bell so you get notified every time we put a video out. You can find us here on YouTube, of course, on Facebook, on Instagram, and we put all of our premium content on Patreon. Until next time, remember, it's always better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.